Thank you so much, guys. Now, without a doubt, CEO of the Travelstart Group, Stephan Ekbergh, is a boffin when it comes to travel. We know this. And also life lessons when it comes to entrepreneurship, from very humble beginnings of operating a business with almost zero capital back in 1992 to a mild liftoff in 2002 and eventually becoming one of the best online travel agencies in Africa. The online travel expert now joins us on the couch to provide some survival tips for entrepreneurs and some tricks to tackle the online travel industry. And you will also have the chance of winning the opportunity to discover some of Africa's hidden gems, one of our favorite parts of the show. But Stephan, welcome to the family, I'm going to say. Here I thought I was talking to an international travel man, but you seem to have roots here in Africa, very much so. 15 years to maintain a startup. That is an incredible record. How did this all come about?
Well, I mean, you know, first of all, I mean, Travelstart is my, you got to remember, it's my 11th startup in the travel industry.
Wow.
So there was, you know, a lot of failures before, you know, many iterations, but I came to South Africa first time in the 80s. And, you know, of course, fell in love with the country and you know, I always tried to find a way to claw myself back to the country of some sort. And, you know, we started Travelstart in Sweden in '99. You know, we were very successful there. And, but I think on the inside, you know, I was very miserable, you know, living there. And me and my wife, we always dreamed about coming here. So at some point we said, you know, why don't we try to move there and, you know, set up the company in Africa, which is in South Africa, which is, you know, in a way, a stupid idea, because why would anybody want to leave South Africa, you know? So,
yeah.
So you're selling destinations, and, you know, yet we're living in, you know, the best place in the world, you know.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. I know we get to travel all over the world, and I'm always struck by how amazing South Africa as a destination is, but also the people in South Africa really do stand out. Now, you mentioned 11 failures possibly on your way, or 11 startups on your way to success. What lessons have you learned along that journey? We have such a strong entrepreneurship spirit here in South Africa. What have been some of those standout lessons for you?
Yeah, so on that, actually, it's very interesting. That's one of the things that I've always appreciated here, is that there is a real drive here. You know, you don't wait for handouts from the government. Well, maybe some people do, but you know, they do that in where I come from as well. But you know, it's really, there is a real drive here, and I think that's, you know, I always thought that, you know, what would happen to me as an entrepreneur if I moved to a new country? You know, how would I be changed? And the transformation was quite incredible for me, and also for the company. I mean, Travelstart today is something completely different than we were, you know, 15 years ago in Sweden. And I think it's also partially because people here, I've found, they're very, very passionate about, you know, when you give, when you deliver a good service, a good product. And I think, you know, what we always wanted to do here was that I consider, you know, the travel industry, you know, in South Africa, in Africa, very, very, you know, very, very broken. You know, it's often run by, you know, mom and pop shops. And what we saw in Sweden was that, you know, through technology, through proper training, you know, we actually professionalized, you know, not only our company, but the whole industry. So I think that, you know, in a way, we're professionalizing the whole industry here.
Not to give away your trade secrets, but obviously you've hit on a winning formula with Travelstart, and you've touched on a few things there. But for those of us looking to kind of launch our own businesses, what would stand out as key success factors for Travelstart? What has really gotten you to this point, do you think?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Of course, there is not, you know, one or two things, but I think so when I was a kid, you know, I worked in a convenience store in the village where I grew up. And the man who owned it, you know, he had you know, he had a wooden leg and arthritis, you know, big glasses, and he couldn't see, and yet he transformed the whole retail industry in our part of the country. And I worked with him, you know, over weekends and holidays for 10 years from the age of 7.
Wow.
And basically what I saw, what he always talked about, it's discount is very important. So we've focused a lot on discounts. So you'll see all the offers, you know, we focus a lot on offers. We chase offers for people, you know. So that's the one thing. Then, you know, always having a relentless focus on the customer, you know, always remembering that the customer, you know, pays our bills. And I would say the third thing would probably be to do things differently, you know, just you know,
Innovate,
always asks, how can we do this differently? And, you know, and always changing things, you know.
I would add to that, add bucket loads of passion, because clearly you absolutely love what you do. So, Stephan, thank you so much for opening a window into your world, and for an incredible product at that. I think we're really going to enjoy this partnership. And, of course, we did mention that we're going to give you guys the opportunity to discover some hidden gems. The winner of the Discover Africa competition with Travelstart and Expresso will enjoy a 7-night trip for 2 worth 50,000 Rand to their chosen destination of either Namibia, Botswana, or the incredible Victoria Falls. So to enter, you've got to SMS the keyword travel, your email address to 33728, and those entries close on the 8th of April. That's next month. The SMS is going to cost you just $1.50. No free SMSs apply, and of course, terms and conditions can be found on expressoshow.com. Lovely.